This is Aussie Mac Zone. We'll cover everything Apple, including Macs, iPhones, iPads, and more. All this from an Aussie perspective. Sit back, relax, and insert yourself into the zone. The Aussie Mac Zone.
Hello everybody, welcome to show 185 of...
Oh shit. Sorry. Just stop you right there.
Yeah.
Let me start recording.
Oh yeah. That's a trade secret, we don't advertise that one. Hi everybody, welcome again to show 185, Aussie Mac Zone. We've got Garth and Karen helping tonight, so just remember we are presented by athwebhosting.com.au. Affordable competitive plans, 99.95% uptime, domain registration, free setup, auto setup, instant activation, accepts PayPal as well as other cards. Over 250 scripts installed with one click, including WordPress and Joomla. And we use cPanel, the industry standard, user-friendly and rich control panel, from $5.95 per month when paid annually. With 24/7 ticket support system, and I've seen him actually answer them as they come in, basically. So yeah, and friendly help when needed. How are you, young Garth?
Hey, g'day, Michael. That's very kind of you, young Garth. Yeah, it's been a while.
Well, you're younger than
I guess
me.
it depends upon the company you keep.
So, yes, that's exactly right. So, how's life been this week?
Oh, not too bad. The wet is gone, but the humidity has stayed. And I think wind has come suddenly, hasn't it?
It has.
Up here.
It has down here too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Turned up yesterday afternoon. Nice storm and winds and weather. And
Yep.
yeah, so. And I've got my lovely wife ordering me around. Producing the podcast again tonight. So.
Looking after you.
Hello, everybody.
So, and we've got a little thing to note here that we only found out after our show last week. So congratulations to Aussie Tech Heads. They won the tech section. Yay, Ray! They won the tech section for the popular vote for Australian podcasts. So what happens? Everybody voted, and depending on what section, but the overall winner was I'm trying to get Karen to tell me what it was. Case files. That got the more votes than anybody else, but specifically in the tech section, Aussie Tech Heads came in number one. What a great thing that.
Fantastic.
Yeah, well, if we'd have known that earlier, we would have got hammered, let me tell you. I would have made him go home with a headache that day.
Yeah. Oh, I suppose so.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, well, I'll have to stop bagging him out quite so often.
yes. We can pick on the rest of them now.
Although, yeah.
So, the ACCC and Apple are in the news again. As I wrote on our Aussie Mac Zone Apple news channel and our Facebook groups, the ACCC has suggested that it is incorrect for Apple not to accept units for repair after a third party has, say, changed an iPhone display. So I had my rant on our posts. So, Gus, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, look, Michael, after reading your rants, I think you probably should outline them a little bit for those who are listeners and not readers.
Yeah.
Because I think you make some really valid points that I wouldn't have considered necessarily. Just off the top of my head, though, in general, they should still be accountable, I believe, for any work required on a device that is not due to defects or faults caused by the other repairs. So if, like you mentioned around, a screw going into the battery, if that's what has caused the issue, then that's not Apple's responsibility.
Yeah, but
if it's something completely unrelated to any work done by a third party, why should they not then be?
yeah, but so
Why should it not then fall under the normal warranty?
but how do you know? How do you know that the third party didn't take the battery clip off a lot rougher than I would, for example, and has caused it. That's why it's not charging to 100% all the time. Or like we've got to replace screws. We actually replace this. Oh, I don't do it because I'm not iPhone certified by choice. But if you're doing a phone, you've got to actually replace the screws, not just put the old screws back in. And that way it keeps the thread fresh and tight. There are lots of little things.
Dreaming, as if we're ever gonna put fresh screws in there when we put the same buggers back in.
Yeah, and then
yeah, exactly.
And also we expect Apple to take the device back for warranty purposes. Not for warranty purposes, but for recycling purposes. And the equipment may not be the same. Also, Apple, if there's a ding next to the screen that stops the screen going in properly, Apple will say, all right, well, we can't replace the screen on this. We've got to replace the whole device. Whereas I saw on the weekend a screen that wasn't sitting incorrectly, and the guy said that's because it's got a ding on the side, and we're just going to leave it like that. Yeah. Their excuse was they're saving money. It also put a battery in, which the first one only ever charged to 80%, and the second one charges to 82%. Never go to 100%. And they're supposedly two brand new batteries. Now,
Yeah.
Some other parts of my rant were just like you say, to fill in the background was
yeah. I was trying to give you space to there. I was trying to be the devil's advocate for a minute there.
Yeah, but we like people say, oh well, I can get my car fixed anywhere. They put signs up, services and all that sort of stuff that won't void your warranty. Whereas we don't get our phones serviced. We only get them repaired after we've dropped them, for example, and had a smash. And you've got to be a certified repairer to repair say your Ford that you run into someone and you've got to get a guard fixed. You've got to be certified.
It's the same thing, You can get your car fixed anywhere. You can get your phone fixed anywhere, as long as they're certified.
Yes.
to do the work. And I think that's a completely valid argument.
Yeah. But yeah, the point I did bring up, like he was talking about the screw, was an Apple phone was known to smoke on a plane, and that was found to be a third-party repairer that left a screw in it and squashed the battery between the screen and the screw. But or my son's.
You can make it fit. Come on,
that's right. Just push harder. My son's iPhone 5S, when he got his display replaced, they put a 5 display in instead of a 5S. And while they were stuffing around trying to get a 5S display, no, I wouldn't have sent. I wouldn't have sent him there. No, I wouldn't have. But then again, by the time we were waiting for that to be resolved, he was using his phone. He'd left it on the top of the car and driven off and had it run over. So that got rid of that problem. So yeah, but if you want to go and have a look at this is just to push our Apple News channel called Aussie Mac Zone. Or our Facebook group, they've got a copy of it as well. Because the reason I share it on both is because if I share it on the link to the Aussie Mac Apple News channel, you can only read it on your phone or your iPad. So, whereas you can read the others on a computer.
Apple News for the web. That's what we need.
Yes, something like that. So, I'll leave the next one. So with the recent Apple iOS updates, we can now get Apple's new app, Clips. And it's an awful lot of fun. I'll put a demo up later on. But can I suggest watching the 9 to 5 Mac video on how to use it, as learning the basics first will greatly enhance the experience. And the video does go for about 15 minutes, but it does get down to the nitty gritty, but it makes it a lot easier to, once you get someone pointed out to you and you can see it, that makes a huge difference. So, and another word of warning is it's 5S or newer, and And that also means that the iPhone 5 probably won't work on many more iOS updates either. So, because it's 64-bit.
We're getting plenty of warnings around the 32-bit apps, aren't we?
Yeah, and the iPhone 5 is only a 32-bit phone, so
it's got to be falling off the other end of the off the other end of the train.
Yes.
Which is fair enough.
Adobe updates Illustrator CC and InDesign CC with some new features. So Thursday, Adobe issued updates for Illustrator and InDesign, introducing new features and user interface improvements for the professional design software. So why am I mentioning this? Because Illustrator is celebrating its 30th anniversary. 30 years it's been around. That's pretty good.
Yep. Now, Illustrator is the one that does vector graphics, is that right?
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah.
So, does lots of things. If you're into using it.
if you wanted to.
Yeah. So, now you got some Tesla news, is that right?
Well, just a little bit of brief news, yeah. As an avid Tesla watcher, I thought I'd make it aware, if anyone is listening and watching Tesla, they'll know that Model 3 is due to start production in July. That's when it's been touted. However, Tesla are sort of renowned for being late with stuff, right? the plan might be to get it out at date A, but it comes out at, date A plus a year or whatever. But we're starting to see Model 3 in the wild. The test cars.
Yeah.
Got a few videos and pictures of them being spotted in the wild. So maybe first time ever, we might see Tesla actually start production of Model 3 in full when
reasonably on time. Yeah.
Yeah, which for people like me who are way back in the queue, is only good news.
You might get it before you retire.
Exactly. Exactly.
And Tesla.
Now, you had another little bit of Tesla news too, didn't you?
They read the news this week because I'm a carie. So they're according to the stock exchange, Tesla's worth more than Ford. Their market capitalisation is worth more than Ford. So that was a bit amazing for a lot of people because Tesla sell 85,000 cars a year and Ford sells 7 million.
Well, they're on track for 100,000 well, 50,000 in the first half of the year this year.
Yeah.
So I think we see the same sort of thing with Apple in terms of it's all about sentiment. Whether Apple's price goes up or down, and in this case Tesla's price goes up or down. Now with Tesla, there's obviously the Powerwall stuff and lots of other things that are associated to that. But it's the same sort of concept in that it's not about necessarily the core fundamentals. It's about what people believe and think about a company that will drive the stock price just as much. But that being said, what people believe and think about a company is usually on aggregate based on some pretty sound, hive mind, if you know what I mean. It's just
yes.
So
And just talking cars, it was interesting. When I was down at Melbourne a couple of weeks ago, we were behind two cars that had a nice sign in the window saying that these were Ford test vehicles that were driving around in Melbourne streets, and because that's a local test plant, Ford Australia is, and they had stickers on the back like you'd normally see, these were particularly Ford Escorts, a new model Escort, but they had four badges on the back of them, which was Escort in English, and there were three other badges in three other languages, one of which was Chinese.
Really,
so they're even testing how good the glue of the badge is.
Ford versus Yeah, well, that's right. And which badges look the best too.
Yeah.
On the Ford Tesla thing, a little while ago, I remember Elon Musk had said, you know, we're still fighting to make our place, and at the moment we're the only other American car company that's actually been successful in any shape or form. All the other, companies that we think of as American car companies are based on European brands or whatever. Ford is the only other American car company other than Tesla that's currently
Yeah.
what's going on? Currently sort of viable.
Uh-huh. Sorry, can you just tip your screen just a little bit more? Just chopping you out. Yeah, that's a bit better. That's a bit better. Sorry. Yeah.
There you go.
For some reason it dropped down.
No, it's probably my seat. I think the gas in this seat just slowly sinks as the night goes on.
Yeah, because we
lower
lost
and
your
lower.
chin below the lower third, so yeah, sorry about that.
Yep.
But yeah, it's who else? Someone else bought an electric car the other day. Jason Snell bought a second. They wanted a second-hand car for the family, a second car for the family. So he bought a second-hand electric car, which was, I think his was 3 or 4 years old. Yeah, and he got it for like a third of the retail price, just because it's an electric car. It's got such a short range to it because it's 4 years old or whatever, but that suits his purpose. He doesn't need the
around the batteries that there was a lot of expectation that they would fail quite quickly. You need to swap them over. There goes half the price of your car.
Yeah.
But that hasn't so far with testing with Tesla. With the information that I've seen on those, it hasn't actually been anywhere near as bad as what they were even predicting.
Yeah.
I mean, they've had cars from the Roadster on the road for quite a number of years now, and it's not proving to be as big a issue as was first thought. So you're probably getting a bit of benefit there in that there's still the belief that that's a problem, so the price goes down, but actually it's not as big a problem as it was thought to be.
Yeah.
So
we're at our discussion
point. Get back to the. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yep, you go.
Yeah. Get back to what we're here for. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Apple. This is our discussion point this week. Just tell us what you think. Apple has announced to a special group, and I think it was 5 journalists, that the Mac Pro isn't dead. So, pardon me, Phil Schiller and Apple admitted that the current Mac Pro had not been well received by many pros, and this, along with thermal issues, had led to a rethink of the design. Apple bet on the future being multiple GPUs, parallel processing, but the industry went back to big GPUs, just single ones, and Thunderbolt peripherals handling expansion has also not gone according to plan. So Phil Schiller has said that the new Mac Pro, due in 2018, will be, by definition, a modular design. So
now, first point, 2018. They didn't actually say that, did they? It said not this year, so we're all assuming it'll be next year, but
yes,
the rate they're going, maybe it won't actually be next year.
Or maybe they've given us such a long lead time that they're actually going to drop it this year for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And just say, oh, look.
Tell him he's dreaming.
Not on time, my ass. Is that what he said?
Yeah, exactly. So this is why they didn't even nail themselves down to next year, because they made the AirPods just in the right year, not the right quarter, but the right year at least.
But yeah, so like the first point was they've released just slightly faster Mac Pros, the current shape, and also the lower Mac Pro now is effectively what the upper one was, and the upper one is slightly faster and slightly faster GPUs.
I think they've made the the base models of the two Mac Pros, what the upgraded versions of those two had been.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
So
so they haven't got newer Xeon processors in there. They've still got the same ones, I believe, just the upgraded versions.
And I think that's
instead of 6 cores.
That's all part of the thermal issue of not just in the design. That's couldn't do any more.
Yeah, Apple have got a bit of a history of that, haven't they?
Of not getting things quite right.
Well, yes, and also of putting form over function.
Yeah. Yes.
We do adore the beauty of the products, but too often I think the form is trumping function.
Yeah.
And this is a prime example of that.
And because even just like the GPUs, where they'd hope to have two going all the time, which means that they're actually running cooler because they've got a big one. Again, the heat's there. That'll make the fan go all the time, or be noisy on your desk, or
You'd think
all those little things.
There would be a way of cooling still, wouldn't you? a better designed fan that pushes more air through there. It's still, I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, so
I'm sure they tried, but they couldn't get it to work.
I'm sure they tried for ages and ages, and it's just got to the point where they've gone, nah.
Far too ages, and that's another part of the problem, isn't it?
Yeah, and they would have tried and tried and tried.
Design for the next one is what they've indicated, a modular design.
Yes.
What do we think that means?
Something where you can change it in and out a bit quicker, so that they can, for the pros, maybe they will have a Mac Pro every 9 months or so, where they can just swap the stuff in and out. Now, whether it's big like the cheese grater, or whether it's... Sorry?
So I was going to say, so where you, the user, can swap it in and out every 9 months, upgrade the processor, upgrade the RAM yourself, or where they can... It's modular from Apple's perspective in that, we can upgrade this easily enough and sell you a new version.
Yeah, probably
you know
modular from Apple's perspective, I think.
Yeah. I would guess so, but I would hope that it was at least some of the upgradable components that typically were upgradable, like, okay, yes, you want to add a bit more RAM, go for it.
Yeah, I'm sure the RAM will be user
Those
upgradable.
Sort of will be more easily to be upgraded,
And
it'd be a shame to see that go down the same path that all other Macs have lately.
And I think there was, I haven't studied it enough to be honest, but there were there was very little mention of the Mac Mini, but
No mention.
Yeah. As like he said, yes, but it's still part of our range, but we're not going to talk about it today. But a lot of people don't realise. Yes, the Mac Mini was introduced as for people that didn't want to buy a keyboard and a mouse and a display, and they already had that, and it was just to get those Windows users over to us or whatever. But I've got lots of them out there working as service. You used to be able to buy a Mac Mini server model. You can now effectively buy a Mac Mini server model anyway, because the software is just an app.
$20 upgrade or something, isn't it?
Yeah. And the machines, you can buy with a Fusion drive, and for a server you just make the SSD the bootable device, and then you make the hard drive the data device, and then just back those up separately. So, but there's lots and lots of Mac Minis out there as servers.
It would be nice to see a newer version of it, though. A lot of people do love the Mac Mini.
Yeah.
And actually, that brings up another point. This is a very small part of their market, The Mac Mini and the Mac Pro, out of all Macs, is a very small component.
Yes.
Of, including iMacs. I think, what was it, 80% or 85? 15 to 20% of all Macs are desktops.
Yeah.
And you know that most of those are going to be your iMacs.
iMacs,
your Mac Mini.
Yeah.
Or your Mac Pros. And compared to iOS and in that market, the whole Mac line is a small part of their of Apple's concerns. All of that being said, of course, the Mac in itself, compared to other, other companies, is still a Fortune 500 company.
Yeah.
Or would be considered one if taken in isolation. But from Apple's perspective, this is a very small part of their market.
But so
I guess.
Yeah. Sorry.
You go.
Oh no, but as I was going to say, so are displays. But after the LG ultrafine multiple fiascos, they've decided to actually make their own displays again in 2018.
Yeah, whether or not I don't, I've seen that mentioned that the issue with having LG displays near Wi-Fi modems.
Yeah.
Is that a contributor to them going back into the display market, or were they always going to do it? They just weren't ready at the time.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I guess it doesn't really matter. The point being, they are going back into the display market, which
they said they're going back
after
saying they were going out. So
yeah. Or maybe we'll see a return to the router market as well. In that case,
yeah, that's right. That's right.
With our Siri home device.
So what else was announced? There were the display, the new Mac Pro, the new iMacs. Towards the end of the year, we're going to get new iMacs, which I believe will only be speed bumps and GPU bumps, because what are they going to do? Put a 6K display in or an 8K display? Is that what we're expecting?
They're already, they're already beautiful products.
4 and 5K displays are enough for a little while. Surely let me catch up.
Yeah. And I think the thing is, that's what they needed to do with the Mac Pro, if they were able to, just incremental increases. I don't think as consumers we're expecting, like we are with iPhones, them to completely change the design and upgrade. If you've got a beautiful design that works, just keep the processors and the that kind of hardware up to speed, and everyone's happy.
Yeah. Well, maybe they got caught with the Intel issue, and maybe that introduced, again, we don't know, because Intel took a while to deliver their processors, and the GPU issue changed, and maybe they just couldn't get it to work. I'm sure there's a few sleepless nights. I'm sure there were a few sleepless nights. Yeah. Well, we have to try and find out, won't we?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. With the resources they have available, I'm sure they could have made a bit sooner. I think it was probably just on the back burner too long, and suddenly realised, oh shit, sorry. Suddenly realised this idea, how are we going to get out of this?
Yeah. So I've got no more there, but so Aussie Tech Radio at aussietechradio.com, and we've also got our Aussie Tech Security podcast and our our award-winning Aussie Tech Heads podcast. I've got to have to put that in there now, the award-winning Aussie Tech Heads podcast. I know how to suck up, mate.
Yeah, I have to listen to Thursday night. I don't think, I can hear Eric just anyway. Keep going.
And
be worth a listen.
Yes, and our Apple News Aussie Mac Zone channel. So awesome. Just remember how to favourite. You just click on the favourites button, type in Aussie Mac Zone. You'll see us there. Click it, and we'll be favourite and just be there all the time for you. And
perfect.
Yeah, I've actually sat down and actually wrote that one. I didn't copy and paste it. I wrote that one the other night. So,
yep.
And we are getting some equipment sent to us for review at the moment too, I believe. So, looking forward to that. Get some more reviews up. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Any more stories from you, my friend?
No, I just yeah, no.
No, that's all right. I'm just double checking because I've skipped around tonight.
The only other thing I wanted to mention, which we did actually already mention anyway, was I was going to chat a little bit more about. We sort of moved on quickly from the Clips app from Apple.
Yeah, no, go for it. Yeah.
The only other thing I wanted to mention around that was the fact that, we're saying watch the 9 to 5 video, 15 minutes worth of how to use it to get the most out of it. I don't know, that it feels like if you need to do that, then have we gone wrong somewhere with the design?
No, because you can get right into it, but like they're explaining, you can't use the way you use a photo. For example, if you want to include just a photo in there, you load the photo and then you do a little screen grab of you make a video of the photo. And explains that's how you add a photo to a video, for example.
Right.
It just explains a bit more on how to do things.
Okay.
But
to make it an easy experience rather than how do I do this?
Yeah, well,
you
can get frustrated. Like,
who's recent.
I've put a photo there. Why isn't it in my video? And it's got a nice little timeline there. I put the photo there. It says click here to add a photo. What happens next? All right, why isn't it in the timeline? So you might get frustrated. Whereas if you spend a few minutes and get it sorted, that's the thing.
Karen said read the manual.
Sorry?
Karen said read the manual. It's like reading the manual.
ITFM?
So, so that's after sitting down and just, having a look at it today and having a play with it and then looking at the video, it did help me a little bit. So, yeah.
Okay. I know, I still feel like, I don't know. I know ITFM, right? But we shouldn't have to for that kind of app.
No.
I guess that,
I understand where you're coming from.
Yep.
And he's probably coming at it as a way of, they're counting on the YouTube to. He's trying to use it in a more professional manner than just having a 10-second clip to chuck up there, sort of thing. So
here's how to be efficient with it, rather than just here's how to have it. Then go and have a play.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
all right.
That's all right. And besides that, we're the one they're going to get asked. Oh, how do you put a photo in it?
Yeah.
That's what. So we need to know the whole 15 minutes worth, whereas everybody else only needs to know the few seconds worth. That's all right. So what about this? Just to remind everyone, because my son-in-law had forgotten that it even existed or didn't know, the iPhone's actually got a spirit level action in it. So you simply open the Compass app, then you swipe.
Because where else would it be?
Yeah. Well, my first one was a separate app, but now you open the Compass app, swipe from right to left, so you're in the second pane, and there it is, and you just hold it up, get it in the right place. So now there's no excuse for that picture not being level. And just a reminder, some cases have a little rise where the volume button is, for example. So you just got to make allowances for that, or pop the case off to do your leveling. And what about?
That's a very good point. So if you take the case off, you've still got the bumps there for the volume.
Just a little, yeah. So you just got to be aware. Just got to think about it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. And what about getting to split view mode on the Mac? So you hold down the full screen button, the green button that we're all used to for going into full screen mode. You actually hold that down. So the green dot. And as you hold it, the window shrinks and you can drag it to either the left or the right side of the screen. Release the button and then click another window to begin using windows side by side.
And then it will automatically go to 50-50, or can you adjust how much?
It automatically goes to 50-50, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And, if you're doing if you're trying to refer to the article while you're typing, or if you're trying to do a lot of copy and pasting, does make it a bit faster, yeah. Or you can go from window to window by doing the Command Tab too. Don't forget that.
Command Tab, yeah. Or Application Tab. You know, if you're in the one application, you want to go between all the different windows of that one application.
Yeah.
You can do Command Accent, so the button above your tab.
Mm-hmm.
If you just want to toggle between all the windows of a given application that you're in.
Yeah, if you've got 3 or 4 browser windows open as opposed to tabs. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, excellent. Now, this week's email was sent to us. I have an iPhone 5S and the App Store won't show me an app update I know is there. Help. Do I have to restart? So, no, you don't have to reboot your device.
You have to get a newer one, I'm guessing.
No. So, when you've got the App Store open, down the bottom it's got, you've got your search and your updates and I think your purchases, those little buttons right down the bottom. So you tap one of those buttons, any one you like, 10 times.
Yep.
And it forcibly goes and refreshes the App Store. So, no, you don't have to buy a new device.
Oh, come on.
You don't have to restart your device.
Was it a 5S or a 5?
That was a 5S. The 5 is the one you
Okay,
probably have to buy a
right.
new device.
Yeah. That's where I was going wrong. I was thinking, oh, they got a 5, 32-bit. Sorry, it's not 64-bit update.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, and I think that works in a couple of different applications, doesn't it? Another one where 10 taps of the... Oh, it was just the iTunes Store, I think, was the other one.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Forces it to refresh, yeah. And it's 10 taps is just simple when you're just going da-da-da-da-da, and you'll see it go away and come back again like you'd expect.
Yeah.
Because we used to, in your mail, you just do a pull down with your finger and it refreshes your mail list and things like that. It just hasn't got that in the App Store, no. So that's it, my friend.
Another week of Aussie Apple Ramblings.
Yes.
Rambled out. Yeah.
So, thank you very much again. Thank you, Karen.
Michael. Thank you, listeners. Thank you, Karen.
Yeah. Thank you to those fantastic listeners. And we'll see you all next week. Thank you.
Good night.